Well, I've given that one a name and it's on hold until the other one's 18 minutes. I've got to keep an eye on that, but it might not come to any harm if I don't there when it finishes uploading. It won't disappear, will it? Alright, we're doing TURD World War. We're getting near the end, guys and gals and friends and foes. This one is My Story by Brandy Harvey. He's talking to the people of the future, as we all hope we are. Lord knows we've got to fight. Dear people of the future, we live in the USA. We are at the southwest corner of Kansas, Oklahoma. It's just 20 miles from our location. Oklahoma is. On this day, we went out to eat in order to celebrate my daughter's birthday. We ate at a local restaurant. My parents needed a few things from Woodward, okay? All across the USA, Walmart affiliated with Walgreens and Sam's, along with all Kroger stores, Trader Joe's and Love's. This is a gas station. I heard dollar stores require masks. Meanwhile, you are allowed to go into all eating places, and there are other stores you can still shop in while not wearing a mask. Our water parks, pools and lakes are open for business as normal, with social distancing 6 feet apart, warning signs available to read and learn from. Most people who have medicine to pick up use Walmart and Walgreens. This means loads of people comply with masks. Walgreens have a drive-up window, so we went through the pickup line. We went over to Walmart. My father went inside alone, as I have a child under 5 who is exempt from mask wearing. At Walmart, they had only one entrance open. The other was closed, only allowed people to exit out of the other doors. They had 2 workers to let people know of rule changes. They are not enforced rules yet. While waiting, we went to Love's gas station for restrooms. I was going to get a drink inside. As I entered, I heard a lady working there tell a customer that they were no longer going to serve customers who do not wear a mask. When I exited, they said, "Have a good day," to let me know I had been spotted. I was clutching onto my child, too young for a mask. My daughter, who was in the car already, told me they'd asked her where her mask was. She, being a teen and having a high IQ, politely responded, "I have an internal filter. It is inside of me." Oh, I love that girl. We then returned to Walmart's parking lot to wait on my father, who was still inside the store. I was thirsty and would have bought a drink inside of Love's, if not for the discomfort. So I went to the outside pop machines at Walmart with my daughter. All the pop was sold out except Pepsi Original. They have 4 pop machines. We then stopped in Braum's on the way out of town. My mum finally got to use the restroom in a building that doesn't ostracize people for not wearing a mask. My son was having a shopping withdrawal in the car because he was not allowed out of the car for hardly anything other than restrooms and food. I wonder what damage this is doing to my children. We have spent our time at the lake this summer, swallowing a bunch of lake water. We've been to the stores with no mask on. We have yet to catch the COVID-19 coronavirus China virus. We live in the same house as my parents. My grandmother is around us as well. No one in my family has gotten ill. I personally think the wealthy have never liked germs, and this is a wealthy germ warfare. They don't mix with people, do they? So their immune system's not good. You need to mix with people. So, something odd. My cousin was real sick with pneumonia last summer, 2019. We were all around her. No one caught anything then. She took 4 months to get over this and still affected from it. Masks do not save you from sickness. Going out of our way to sanitize our shopping carts, checkout lanes, card machines, cash machines and so on would help kill germs, keeping us well. If one rides any sort of transportation, these should be cleaned also. Fighting about a mask and equality seems to work in a political arena's favour. I think it's to cause all to focus on the wrong things. This is disturbing everything and everyone. We had vacation plans for my daughter, mom, cousin, aunt and grandmother to go to Dublin. This is a lifelong dream of my cousin's. We change our vacation plans for a family get-together in Galveston, Texas, I apologise. Then we realised we would have to quarantine upon arrival back home for 14 days. We were quarantined for 14 days at the beginning of this pandemic to do with going to Wichita, KS for the dentist. Our county health nurse made the call on several counties at that time. The quarantines are silly, as we were healthy. A person in our county had COVID and got well in 5 days. They were not in quarantine for 4 days, just the 5 or 9. My daughter was in soccer and piano. All got cancelled. We're taking a trip to Oklahoma to see family, keeping distance as much as possible with everyone. We will call this vacation. I heard Walmart is already suffering. They are looking at letting go of some employees. Our government's plan is to try and get everyone on board with vaccines. Dear people of the future, thank you for your time. Well, I hope you don't have a vaccine. Devil in disguise is on the same page as at writing. Very good drawings in here. My name is Amy Danks. I am an artist, and although I have no words excuse me, to describe how I feel about the COVID-19 scam, I do have this painting. It paints those 1,000 words that I cannot write, and it says roll up, puppet profits, something, and it's a painting, it's a drawing painting she's done of Bill Gates on strings. I think David Yates has got it in colour. I saw it on one of his videos. Very good, Amy. You're very talented. It's quite brilliant, really. Excuse me. Psychology of victims of torture and abuse. Everything you need to know about narcissists, psychopaths and abuse. Yale University report. How to control the messaging and target the populations. People will be bird-fed, bit by bit, the information. Yale and the media will message effectiveness and safety of vaccines continuously. The Yale report asks us to imagine just how responsible we will feel for others getting sick if we do not get vaccinated. We are told COVID-19 is limiting our personal freedom, and we must work together to get people vaccinated so we can preserve our personal freedom. A lie. COVID is limiting our economic freedom, and by working together to get enough people vaccinated, society can preserve its economic freedom. A lie. Self-interest messaging that COVID-19 presents a real danger to one's health, even if one is young and healthy. Getting vaccinated against COVID-19 is the best way to prevent oneself from getting sick. A lie. Messaging about the dangers of COVID-19 to the health of loved ones. The more people who get vaccinated against COVID-19, the lower the risk that one's loved ones will get sick. Societies must work together and all get vaccinated. A lie. Messaging how the COVID-19 is wreaking havoc on the economy. False. COVID is the excuse for intentional economic failure and more, and the only way to strengthen the economy is to work together to get people vaccinated. A lie. Create fear of people that have not been vaccinated. Unvaccinated people will be made to feel uncomfortable in visiting elderly family or friends after a vaccine becomes available. Make people responsible to persuade others to take the COVID vaccine. Social judgment of those not vaccinated. Those people are not trustworthy. They're selfish, unlikable, and not competent if they choose not to get vaccinated. Well, I choose not to get vaccinated, and I'm not any of those descriptions. They can all go to hell, these people. They'll probably get there quick as soon as they take the COVID-19 and will be gone first. People will be manipulated by shame and embarrassment. Not me. Not me. Not me. The Yale report asks us to imagine how embarrassed we will feel if we are not vaccinated and spread the disease. Oh, they must be joking. They must be freaking joking. Oh, they don't know the likes of people like me. We've lived too long. We're long in the tooth or got no tooth. Guilted. The Yale report asks us to imagine the guilt. I won't feel any guilt. I'll feel sorry for not stopping those other people taking the flipping vaccine in the first place, because I'll think of them as idiots. Zombified. We will feel if we do not get vaccinated and spread the disease. Told they're not brave, shunned, told their personal freedoms rely on compliance. Those not vaccinated are causing economic damage to others. Where they get that thinking from? Must trust in science. I'll never trust in the scientists that are working this COVID-19. Ever, ever, never, never, never. They've probably buried the others, or they're in hiding or something, because they're all keeping quiet, just like the churches. The church have never spoken up. They should have supported us and defied the government. The church should defy. None of them are speaking up. That really makes me mad. I'm going to do a thing on that one day. A rant, I mean. I'm sorry I've ruined your chat here. Those not vaccinated are causing economic damage to others. I'd like to know how. Must trust in science. Find out who's doing this to all of us. They are torturing us. Alert, 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 alert. Yale University report. COVID-19 vaccine messaging. How you will be forced to take the vaccine. Never, 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 never. You try and I'll start getting violent. At my age, I'll start getting violent. Anyone tries to make, I mean really violent. And they'd have a job to hold me down the size of me. I'll kick 'em. Manipulate COVID-19 vaccination compliance. How they plan to do this to you. Herd management through gang stalking, isolation and torture techniques. I'm sorry, they're crap. Use of frequency weapons and used against our brains. They'll have to find my brain first. Oh dear. Forced obedience. Well, in all my 73 plus years, I have never been obedient, only to God, since God found me and got me back. So no, I'm not obedient kind type. No, 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 never. From the enemy within. The only enemy within is the devil himself. A study on persuasive techniques to get you vaccinated. Nobody can persuade me against my will. They can go and jump in the river or wherever. Bullying, mind control. No, I'd rebuke them in the name of Jesus Christ. Get behind me, Satan. All of them. And more. They haven't heard me when I get on. COVID-19 vaccine messaging from the controllers. How you will be forced to take the vaccine. Yale University reports. I'm glad I'm not in America. At least we haven't got an idiot like Yale University. Well, maybe we've got some hidden. Maybe Oxford and Cambridge are going that way. Psychological programming by controlling the message. There ain't no friggin' message that I want to hear. I control my own messages and delete them. Here is a list of what abusers, narcissists usually do to their targets. Insult their targets very often, then lie when confronted about it or say it was a joke. Well, I think I'd start swearing, which is not my way anymore. I mean, when I was young, I might have said one or two things, but I try not to, only what I'm reading in this book. When confronted with their behaviour, they pretend to be innocent and play the victim. Everything is always your fault, even when it's obviously not. Well, they're abusers then, aren't they? Because that's what abusers do. They always have a justification for every bad thing they do. They're abusers. They think they're always right. Very controlling. That's what abusers do. They tell you how to live, but they can live any way they choose. Very hypocritical. They accuse you of what they're doing to you. Red flag. It's called projection. Portraying themselves as angels outside when they're actually demons with their family and especially their target. They want you to fail while pretending to want you to succeed. They're very convincing. They never say they're sorry for hurting you. Red flag. Poison your favourite activities. They don't want you to be happy or to get pleasure. Well, they'll have a job to stop me being joyful. I'm joyful in the Lord. They also poison other useful activities like important skills which will help you in the future. Well, my future's heaven, so they're not on my plane. They do not want you to have skills. They want you to be as weak as possible, like heck. They don't teach you anything. They couldn't teach me. Subtly led a smear campaign against their target, so they isolate it and make sure the targeted don't get help. When you want to leave the relationship with a narcissist, They beg you to stay with them and they cry crocodile tears. They're the best actors, sometimes nice, sometimes cruel. You never know where to stand with them. They pretend to be victims and they blame the target for their own behaviour. They're incredibly arrogant and sadistic. They see the target as weak and deserving to suffer, just like these child abusers and wife abusers. They think they're models to be followed. They are spiritually dead, although they might loudly profess some kind of spiritual belief. Yeah, the devil himself, Lucifer incarnate, that's who they worship and are spiritual to all this new age crap. Rebuke you all in the name of Jesus Christ. Get behind me, Satan. Yeah, that's what you say to these people. Get behind me, Satan. Oh, sorry about that rant. Sorry if I ruined your writing. They can buy the book and read what you really said. Anyway, Hi Peeps by Claire Hollingsworth. What has the world come to? I find it heartbreaking to see what's happening all around us all. I have been looking after my elderly neighbours since this lockdown crap had started, as they were terrified to even go out into their back gardens. Yes. Another couple who I've been looking after finally went out last week. There because government tossers said they could. Anyway, the gentleman Percy, I had an Uncle Percy, who, may I add, is nearly 90 years old, bless him, went into a bakery and ordered bread, cakes, etc. When he came to pay for the items, the assistant refused his cash. We should come to our bakers, they only take cash here in our little village, so move. We only accept cards, she told him. Percy has never had a card in his life. So he said that he would have to get his wife to come in as she's got a card. Poor Percy hobbled back to his car about a quarter of a mile away. He couldn't park his car outside the shop because of cones getting ready for COVID roadworks. His poor wife Margaret, who I may add is in her late 80s, hobbled to the shop with her Zimmer frame to pay with her card. It nearly killed her. I told them off in a nice way, as it was too much for both of them. They were so very upset with this experience. WTF, I was fuming. What difference does it make if it's cash? They still have touched it just like a card. It really upset them for days. Me too, for that matter. Me being me, went into the shop and told them what I thought of how they treated poor Percy and Margaret, and which, may I add, was unrepeatable. Nice foul language, I hope. I threw a few buns at them. Also, I have a dear friend whose dad was 90 and was in a home due to disability. He was compos mentis in his head, bless him. He used to watch porn DVDs, that's probably what sent him compos mentis, in his bedroom until the home confiscated the DVDs off him. They said it's not right. FTF, WTF again, whatever that means. He was paying to have the final time of his life there, and they took his happiness away from him. Anyway, with this corona shite happening, he hadn't been allowed outside in the garden since March of this year, 2020. He died last week, August 2020. Rest in peace, rest in peace. As he could not accept the torture anymore, he just gave up, bless him. Oh, how sad. I'm sure many people have died like that because they think they can't fight anymore at that age, and they really just, their spirit just gives up. They've got nothing to fight for because they think the whole world is topsy-turvy. How sad. How sad. Oh, bless him. Let him rest in peace. Unfortunately, I lost my dad last year. I lost my mum at 99 last year too. It was a few months off 90. Luckily of natural causes, mine too, pneumonia. I still miss and want him here, but I'm so very glad he's not lived to see this crap. The idiocy of sheep. I mean people's attitudes towards others, strangers, friends and family. Dad was a man of strong moral values, and he would have been appalled at the attitudes and actions of some. You really are in a better place, bless you, Dad, bless you. And I say that for my mum. I'm glad she didn't live, because she was tough. She was a very tough old lady, and I wouldn't like her to be having to go through all this. She was mentally bright right to the last. She was. They put a nebulizer on her just like the day before. I was told on Friday by my brother Peter that she was in Carlisle Infirmary with pneumonia. So I was there by Saturday night. I had to travel up from Norfolk, and I walked in there, and she wasn't in a mask then. She was pleased to see me. She didn't mind my faith at the end of her life, I'm pleased to say. And she didn't want to hold my hand. She held Peter, my brother's hand, and the elder brother's dead, and the other brother's in Italy. Anyway, on the day that she died, which was Monday the 11th of the 11th, didn't know she was dying. Nobody knew she was dying. But I asked God. That's why I went up there, because my brother said he'd phone me, and I asked God what I must do, and he said, go now. And that was on Friday night. So I went Saturday. Anyway, as she's been given this mask on the day she died, she didn't like it. Stubborn as she was, she didn't want that on. And she took it off. And my brother put it back on, because he used to be a nurse. And I was praying all the time silently for her. She smiled at me, and she was pleased I was there. And then when she wanted it taken off again, she looked at me and she went, Janet, take this mask off. And I thought, oh, don't disobey your mother, not even now. So I took it off. She smiled at me. Oh, it was just beautiful. She smiled at me, and then she just laid back and she looked at me, and then she just closed her eyes. I watched her chest. I saw her heart stop. My brother was on his phone, and I said, Peter, Mum has just died. He felt her pulse. I'd already done that. He said, oh yeah. So that was how my mum, but she went very peacefully, and I'm glad, because she couldn't have gone through this. She was going to have a big 100th birthday party, 26th of April. It was all planned, but that wouldn't have happened, would it? Because of lockdown. So rest in peace, all you family members of ours. I'm glad you didn't have to put up with this rubbish. Take care and try and keep sane in this crazy world we live in. Peeps. Yeah. Sorry I interrupted her reading, but some of it just hit me. They Want Us Dead by Linda Hicks. I think. See how long it is. Right, what I'll do, I think I'll stop there, because it's 28 minutes, and I think that's long enough for us, because I've got enough for looks like another little sort of video. Okay. I have to write on here or I'll forget. Thank you so much for listening. I hope I haven't ruined the book, David, and people who stuff I've read. I hope I haven't ruined it for you. All right, God bless you. We soon finish this book, won't we?